All right, so if you're a pilot or an air traffic controller, you probably think of your aviation English level as just, a number on a piece of paper. But it's so much more than that. It's a huge strategic choice. I'm talking about something that affects your safety, your bank account, and pretty much the whole path of your career. So let's get into it. Why is picking between a level 4, 5, or 6 one of the biggest calls you're going to make?
Look, this isn't just some catchy phrase. It's really the fundamental truth behind this entire system. When you're in the cockpit or in the control tower, words are your most important tools. The right ones can prevent a disaster, but the wrong ones, or even just misunderstood ones, well, that can be absolutely catastrophic.
And to really get why this is so critical, we have to go back in time. We have to look at the tragic lessons that basically forced the entire aviation world to create a single global standard.
And these are some of the absolute darkest days in aviation history. You look at Tenerife in 1977. A simple phrase, "we are now at takeoff," gets tragically misunderstood, and it leads to the deadliest accident we've ever seen. Or fast forward to 1990 in Avianca crew. They tell controllers they're running low on fuel, but they never, ever use that magic word, emergency. And then in 96 over New Delhi, a miscommunication, a simple misinterpretation because of poor English, and you have a horrifying midair collision. And get this, between 1976 and 2000, more than 1,100 people lost their lives in crashes where language was a major factor. It's just staggering.
These weren't just random, isolated incidents. No, they were a massive wake-up call for the entire industry. They proved that with our skies getting more and more crowded and more international, having a common, crystal clear standard for communication wasn't a nice to have. It was an absolute necessity. It was the only way to make sure these tragedies would never, ever happen again.
And out of that, the solution was born. In March of 2008, the International Civil Aviation Organization, you probably know them as ICAO, made its language proficiency requirements mandatory. This was for all pilots and controllers flying international routes. No exception.
So here's the scale they came up with. It's got 6 levels, but really, for your license, only the top 3 matter. Level 4, that's called operational, and it's the bare minimum legal standard. Level 5 is extended, and level 6 is expert. If you're below level 4, you're just not flying internationally. Simple as that. So you might be wondering, how do they figure out your level? Well, every single test looks at you across these 6 different areas. How you pronounce things, your grammar and sentence structure, your vocabulary, how fluently you speak, how well you actually understand what you're hearing, and of course, how you handle a back and forth conversation. Now, this is where it gets really, really important. You have to understand how they calculate your final score. It's what they call the weakest link rule. And it's exactly what it sounds like. Imagine you're a total rock star, a level 6 expert in 5 of those areas, but maybe your grammar, your sentence structure, it's just a level 4. Guess what? Your overall score is level 4. That one weak area brings everything else down. The takeaway here, you've got to be solid across the board. Okay, so we know the levels, we know the rules. But let's get back to the main point. This is not just about passing some test. This is about making a smart, strategic choice for your career. So let's really break down what these numbers mean for you in the real world.
The first, and maybe most obvious difference, how often you have to deal with the stress, the time, and the cost of taking this test again. A Level 4 certificate, that's only good for 3, maybe 4 years. Level 5 doubles that. You're good for 6 years. But if you can hit Level 6, you're certified for life. That's it. You never have to retest again, ever.
But how long your certificate lasts is just one part of the puzzle. Let's dig into a real-world example to actually hear the difference. Okay, picture this. You're in the cockpit, and suddenly your engine oil pressure starts dropping. How does a pilot at each level handle that?
Just listen to the difference there. The Level 4 pilot gets the basic message across. It's clear enough. It's safe. But the Level 5 pilot, they're much more precise. They use better words like rapid decrease, and they're already asking for priority handling. Now look at the Level 6 pilot. They are way ahead of the game. They declare a pan, which is the proper term for an urgent situation, and they're proactively asking for emergency services to be on standby. See, it shows the jump from just reacting to a problem to actively commanding the situation with total clarity. And here's where the rubber really meets the runway for your career. The airlines, they notice that difference, a big difference. Yeah, Level 4 is the legal minimum, but the airlines you really want to fly for, Emirates, Qatar, Singapore, they're all looking for Level 5. It's kind of become the unofficial industry standard if you want a competitive job. Having a level 5 on your resume just puts you way ahead of the pack. Oh, and let's talk about the money, because this is huge. If you map it out over a 30-year career, when you add up the test fees, travel, the prep courses, staying at a level 4 could easily cost you around $5,000. But if you push for level 5, you're retesting half as often. That literally cuts the cost in half. We're talking about a direct savings of thousands of dollars and weeks of your life. Okay, so we've looked at the history, the rules, the performance, the career impact. With all that on the table, what's the right move for your career? Let's map out the strategy.
It really just boils down to your personal goals. I mean, if you've got a job offer waiting and the clock is ticking and you just need to get certified right now, then yeah, aiming for level 4 makes total sense. And if you're already pretty much a native speaker, then go for level 6 and get that permanent cert. It's a no-brainer. But what about everyone else in the middle?
For almost everyone, I'm talking the vast majority of pilots who are building a serious, long-term career, all the evidence points to one very clear answer. The best strategic move, the one that opens the most doors and gives you the best bang for your buck, is to aim for level 5.
You can think of it as the Goldilocks option. It's the perfect sweet spot. Level 5 proves you have a high level of skill that the top airlines are looking for. It saves you a ton of money over your career, and it's a totally achievable goal for most dedicated non-native speakers. It strikes the perfect balance.
So I'll leave you with this final thought to chew on. As we see more and more technology, things like AI and advanced data links, making their way into the cockpit, is this human skill, this art of clear, nuanced communication, is that going to become more critical for handling those moments when tech fails, or will it become less important? That's a really big question for the future of aviation.